Ah yes, good morning and welcome to the Esme Suite. He just draws his tits off everywhere he goes, Key. Puts a bit of bait in, carp swirl, we can catch some. As easy as that. My peg, I pop my bait in,
You get
carp
snagged.
comes in, foul look it. Every single chuck.
It's all about feeding technique, mate. Feeding technique and presentation.
Well done. Are you ready?
I'm bloody ready. Are you ready?
Is it started?
You started. George, they joined us in our little, what can we call this place? I mean,
The Esme Suite.
the Esmo Suite. Yeah,
Esme.
Esme Suite, sorry. Westwood Lakes for the 3-day Dynamite now Spring Classic Festival. Stopping off site, a place called Apple Tree, and I'll put a little video on this place we're stopping. We didn't quite know what it was going to be like when we turned up, did we?
No.
The facilities are good, but it's, should you say it's got its own character?
It's got its own character, definitely, as you can probably tell by the lighting in the...
Yeah, so we'll give you a little tour of where we're staying. Again, not planned, but brilliant facilities here. This is the place to stay, I'm saying, if you go to Westwood, isn't it? From
I
what I've
think
seen.
so. If you can't get on site, I reckon...
Yeah.
What's it called? Apple Tree?
Apple Tree, yeah. There's
Apple Tree.
lodges. Christian and Kieran and Al have got a hot tub in theirs.
Yeah.
Bloody lodge. But this was $180 for the week, so... Or for 4 nights. So great
No,
value.
3 nights, isn't it?
3 nights. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So yeah, 30 quid each a night. Great value.
Great value for money. I'd come back again.
I bloody would. Anyway, enough about where we're staying.
Yeah, stop rambling on, Tom. Stop rambling on. It's morning of day 2 of the actual festival, isn't it?
It is. And yesterday was day 1.
Yesterday was day 1. Well done, Tom.
Is this going to be a problem? Are we going to have this all day today?
Maybe we might be next peg to each other today. We were only 1 away yesterday, weren't we?
We were. So yeah, day 1. 96 anglers taking part, I think, isn't there? Something like 90 odd anyway.
Yeah.
So sections of zones of about 32. It's a 3-day event. It's done on section points. So there are 8 peg sections, 4 sections in each rotation. And yeah, we started the week on Swallow Lake.
We did. I've never drawn on Swallow Lake before, but I drew peg 32. You drew peg 2. The wind was blowing into I was on like a peg
End peg.
No. Me?
Was it?
No. Anyway, I could see every angle on the lake pretty much. I had a view looking all the way down the lake with the wind. I'm going to say at the start it was a nice gentle roll in.
Large carp, porpoising at the start. They'll be on the footage.
Maybe. But yeah, it looked fantastic to me, to be honest. And my plan was to fish down the edge with micros and expanders to start with. And then big pot it for later on. Big pot some ground bait with a worm on the hook to fish some large carp. I was going to throw casters on the top kit. And then feed casters a bit further out for fishing on the bottom and maybe shallow. And that was my little plan for the day. Started on pellets on a top kit. I couldn't find anywhere nice to fish in this micros and expanders in the edge to start with. So I started on a hard pellets on a top kit and I went in, fed some 6 mils because they're quite big fish in this lake, aren't they? They're all
Good stamp.
a good stamp fish. I fed some 6 mils, went in with an 8 mil in the band, foul up one first chuck, went back in and caught one and a big F1 popped up and it must have been 4 pounds straight away and I thought, bloody hell, they are big in here. But I carried on that for the first like 25 minutes and I had a few liners but I never actually hooked another one. And I was feeding casters with a catapult for further out but it was quite windy where I was. And they were spreading out everywhere. So when I actually went on it, I put a medium Guru pole pot of casters and went out, put some casters in, bit of worm on the hook I fancied to start with. And I just fouled up them for fun, to be honest. I had a little spell where I went in, fouled up like 4 in a row. But I was trying to catapult still over the top, and I think the catapult and casters was drawing them off the bottom and all this kind of thing, and I was having a lot of problems. So I put the catapult down, just potted some in, and I caught like 5 or 6 more on this the first hour. But I caught a couple of carp, some big F1s, and probably had 20 pound after an hour. And it's
Good start, isn't it?
it's a good start for a lake I don't know. What happened then? I just stopped getting bites and it was getting windier and windier as the day was going on. And to be honest, I couldn't actually fish it very nice at this point. I don't know what was going on, and so I didn't like that. And I thought with it being the same depth short but on a top kit, So I changed that to throwing casters, or potting my casters in. And that was okay. I caught an odd fish doing that. But the majority of my match I spent in my edge. Now my edge to my left had loads of like stick-ups and stuff. So I couldn't get my rig close to the bank there to feed ground bait, which I think is really important. Because it just stops you foul hooking the fish. That like, they can't get behind your rig. So you're not like hooking them in the tail and stuff. You're like reducing it as much as you can. And I had nowhere to fish like that. Even to my right, I had a bit of bare banking, but it just plumbed up like a right steep cliff, to be honest. And it was quite hard work. I fished a little bit away from the bank in about 2 foot of water. Big potted some ground bait there with big worm on the hook. And I caught some big F1s and a few carp doing that, and it was quite good. And then literally with about 20 minutes to go, I went back on this top kit line, and the fish were there then, and I caught 5 or 6 more in that last little bit. And I ended up with £103, and that was second on the lake and in the section. So good start, but only £121 won.
Think you could have won?
It's not many fish. It's like 5 F1s or 3 carp, isn't it? So it's not many fish at all. I definitely feel like I could have caught that.
Yeah, I think we were both a bit pissed off last night.
Yeah, it didn't really...
We both came away thinking we should have had 2 wins based on our pegs yesterday. I mean, it's mega tight margins here, and as I said, we don't know this venue that well. Although we've fished it a little bit, perhaps in Fisher Mania for you, haven't we? And actually done a live match on Falcon where we are tomorrow, which you won. We haven't fished the other lakes much at all, so it's a bit of a delve into the unknown for us, isn't it? But I'll be back. Good fishing, isn't it?
Yeah,
So interesting.
It's great fishing. It's so frustrating. Like the fish, it feels like there's a million fish in your peg, but actually getting one to eat your bait feels very hard work, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So my match, I started off similar to you on the short pole. I fished half pellets there.
Yep.
But I'd set everything up on short kits, and I fouled up to £4 carp. Got it in. But as I sort of played it, I saw one swim past about £12. I've then gone back in. I've not had another fish on that half pellet line. But I've spooked one that looked about 50, and I'm sat there with these short kits on. I thought, no, this is not the way here. So I got off my box and set up 2 long kits, one with white hydro and one with 17 olive for the short line. Anyway, I've had quite a nice middle of the match. I fished long because the nature of the peg is it's deep water. I said deep, it's about 3 foot, that's all. But the key is, talking to those who do well here, like Christian, etc., you've got to fish where it comes up, a little bit shallower. And I had to go 14.5 metres for that, which in the wind was quite tricky. But I got the AZ Pro out, which was a joy. Fished that at 14.5, just coming up on the harder bottom. And I've started off just kinder potting some casters with 2 white maggots on the hook, which I was told was great. For some reason, they didn't seem to want to eat maggots. So I was getting fish coming in with peg, but not catching them. So I changed to a piece of worm and a good run then. And all they did for the middle of the match really was fish that line, kinder potting some casters, and loose feeding. When it went quiet, I'd give them a couple of big pouches just to try and like bring fish in. And again, I don't know whether this is right, but you talk to people about loose feeding on that lake, and they say that if you feed too much by catapult, you get a million fish in your peg, and it causes all sorts of problems. So what I tried was a bit of old school river tactics. Where I sprayed these casters over a massive area, thinking, at least that way there's not going to be all tails around my flow when I can just pot and control that area. Did it work? I think it did actually a couple of times. But later on, there were fish there anyway, and I just had to kinder pot. I had to move once because I found that I was foul looking fish all of a sudden, so I moved and did a little run. But really, where my match went a bit wrong was in the end of the third, beginning of the 4th hour. I tried the right hand edge for the first time. This plumbed up an absolute dream. Kicked that off with a pot of ground bait. Straight away I saw fish in, so I went in with a kinder pot. It's a little sort of large groove full of ground bait. Put that in. Dragged it in. It went £8 carp. Back in, £6 carp.
Oh, yeah.
Back in, £3 F1. Back, and this was as clean and smooth and nice as you like. It was in, under, on. My God, this is good. And that really distracted me a little bit more than it should have in the 4th hour. I was trying to catch down the edge. I'd seen that the fish were coming in and I could catch them cleanly. So I came a bit preoccupied with that really. Probably wasted a bit of time in the 4th hour. I did eventually go back long, but it took me a little while to get it good again.
Yeah.
End of the match, I've had £91. which again was second in the section, beaten by Charlie Law off the other end peg. He had £96, only
That's quite
4
rude,
or
though,
5
actually.
pounds. Very rude, especially
Very
from a young
rude.
angler. Very rude. So yeah, it was a little bit. It could. Felt like 1 or 2 fish and that's a section win. The easy section, not an easy section win, but a section
Should have
win.
been a section win.
Yeah. So we're sat here, pal. We've not had any tea. We've been punishing ourselves, haven't we?
Any tea, we've not had any breakfast.
Not any breakfast.
Day 2.
Day 2, and we're not eating again until we win our sections, are we?
No, we're going for breakfast.
Are we? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll go for breakfast. So I'll bring you another update tonight or tomorrow morning on how day 2 has gone.
Bye bye. Ah yes, good morning and welcome to the Esme Suite. And I told you I'd do a little tour for you, my little angel wings. So here we go. Pass me the phone. So I'll turn you over and we will start from the outside, shall we? I'll start you off at the outside. So here's our little balcony area. Tom's food cavan. You see here the lovely lodgers here at the Apple Tree resort place. I'll go inside now. You can see my clothes drying there from a little hot tub session at Kieran and Christian's lodge yesterday. Ah yes, so we're back in the Esme Suite. The wings look paradise found, we are. Going into the bedroom. Here's my room. Nice and tidy, all my clothes. 2 little beds. Money. We're going into Tom's room here now. Lovely, big, luxurious double bed. Namaste, it says on the wall. Lovely little TV, lovely little dressing area. Lovely little bathroom, fantastic.
Just make sure you don't show the soiled briefs on the floor.
Little kitchen area, little coffee for Tom. Oh, I don't like coffees. Nice, in case Tom annoys me.
You, very scary guy, you.
And then my fantastic little bathroom here. Little toilet, little shower, little pink flamingos on the wall. So there you are. There's a little tour of the Esme Suite. And now I'm going to go fishing and catch lots of fish.
Oh, and also after this, we'll put the interview we did with Kieran in the hot tub, with the day 1 match winner in the hot tub last night.
Ah, fantastic.
Well, what better place to interview today's match winner, Kieran Marsden, than in the hot tub? These lodges, mate, at the Apple Tree, they're just a treat, aren't they?
Yeah, unbelievable, to be honest with you. And they're really fairly priced as well. They're just brilliant for the money. The brand new big 8-berth lodges with hot tubs. We've got it for 6 days, so yeah, it's fantastic.
And a match win, talk us through it.
Yeah, I've had a match win today. I drew 34 on Skylark. Lovely peg, to be fair. It's got a really nice right edge, just short there on a top kit and 1. So my plan for the match today was, I knew Bagger had been on it on the Maven Match disqualifier on the Saturday, so I knew a little bit how he'd caught it during his match.
Yeah.
He caught a lot of fish in his right hand edge, but that day on the Maven Match disqualifier, it was pegged 1, missed 1, so they had a bit of room. So I was still, today it's been pegged every peg in a line, everyone's been in a line in every pegging. So a bit optimistic whether I would catch some in my edge. I thought it was mainly going to be more of a fishing across day, just with it being tightly pegged. But to be fair, my first hour of my match was a little bit tricky. I sort of got things a bit wrong, fished in the wrong depth of water across, but then I've managed to sort myself out, get in the right depth of water, and I've had a really nice run of fish in spells across. Carp with the nice sized carp, they're average like 4 to 6 pound in that lake with big 3 pound F1s, not many small fish in there. So I've had some nice runs on that. I'd been potting that right hand edge, it's 20-inch in the right hand edge, and I just kept keeping an eye out, see if I could see any signs or tails. And with about 2 hours to go, in the corner of my eye, I seen an odd swirl, so I thought it must be getting time to drop in that edge. So
Yeah.
I've dropped in the edge, and yeah, it's been fantastic. And then every time it's gone a bit funny, I just pot it, prime it back up, just go and catch one across on pellets. But I've ended up winning the section, which is the most important thing. But I've also won the match as well for day 1. So
Brilliant
yeah,
start,
great
pal, isn't
start.
it?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what tomorrow brings.
He just draws his tits off everywhere he goes, Key. Puts a bit of bait in. Carp swirl, we can catch some. As easy as that. My peg, I pop my bait in.
You get
Carp
snagged.
comes in. Foul look it. Every single chuck.
It's all about feeding technique, mate. Feeding technique
I
and
know.
presentation.
Well done, Kieran.
Cheers,
well
pal.
done.
Thank you.
Well done, Key. Oh, Jord, day 2.
Day 2 was a fantastic day for both of us, wasn't it? On the Skylark Lake this time.
Yes, absolutely, the Skylark. Yeah.
You were on peg
14.
flyer.
Damn, it's not big test. How dare you?
Large carp known in this peg.
How dare you? It is a good peg, actually. It's where, a couple of weeks ago, we fished the Fishermania here, didn't we? And I drew peg 15 that day. Sorry, no, peg 13 that day.
Yeah.
And De Bennett was on 14. And he framed in the match with about £130. And then a couple of pegs below that, peg 70, I think it was, or 18, Christian won the match with a cracking 160. So we knew there were a lot of carp along there. I actually won the section by default that day with £100 myself. So I thought, yeah, this fish here, you know what I mean? You, on the other hand, drew more of an unknown quantity, didn't you, really?
It wasn't that unknown, to be fair. Kieran had obviously won the match the day before off peg 34. I drew peg 33. So I thought, I've got to be on some carp here, because peg 32 is also in it at £160, yes, on the first day. So I thought, there's got to be some carp there. I've got to keep it very simple and go positive.
And you were saying that before the start, talk was of needing 4 nets in your area.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not a believer, me, right? You know, everyone talks about rotations on festivals. People go, oh, yeah, I'm in the section of doom, I've got all these top anglers in it. It obviously is not ideal, but to be 100% honest, it rarely is as important as people think. The draws are much more important.
Yeah.
I remember some years ago, Steve Ringer talking about anglers in rotations when we were going to Whiteacres. I remember him telling a story that, you know, he talked about a section of doom. He said the one time he drew a section where he didn't recognise any names in his section, and that was his worst ever performance.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And he won about 13 or 11 or 13 Whiteacres festivals.
It just goes to show.
It does, but if you were to choose 2 anglers, you probably wouldn't want either side of you at Westwood.
Yeah.
You managed to get both of them, didn't you?
I managed to get both of them, so I was on 33. Peg 32 was occupied by an Andy Bennett.
Yeah.
His Westwood record is the best, isn't it? So
Yep.
drew next to him, and then I've got on peg 34 where Kieran won the match off yesterday. I've got Christian Jones, and obviously he literally shares with Kieran, so he knows exactly what to do. So on the other side.
Yes. So there you are, stuck a rose between 2 thorns, shall we say,
Yeah.
pal?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your day first.
All right. Well, I thought, oh no, I'm going to get a lesson here, because I've only fished the lake once before on a Fishermania qualifier, and I caught nothing really that day. Just fouled up them for fun. But I went and I'd watched a little bit at the end of that Fishermania qualifier. I went way around and had a little watch, and I thought, I know how to do it.
I looked behind me half an hour ago. You stood behind me with a beer, just sort of
Cruise campo.
Cheers. Yeah, you and Tyler. Cheers,
Yeah.
cheers, mucker.
And you know what? I'm glad I did it, because it actually helped me out on this match. So I could see how they were fishing, tapping in like 2 or 3 6mm with an 8mm in the band. And if you get a bite, fantastic. But if you don't, if you miss a bite or get a liner or something, again, just feed 2 or 3 pellets. And every time you missed a bite or had a liner or something, feed 2 or 3 pellets and just sit and wait and try and strike at the right bites, to be honest. So I started on that. And I think after an hour, I think I had 6 or 7 fish, but probably foul up 6 or 7 fish as well. Very frustrating. It looked like the fish wanted to come into shallow water at this point, and I didn't have any shallow water. Where I was fishing, it was about 2 foot deep. But I persevered. I could see after 2 hours, Christian and Andy, they were starting to change. They were trying to get off this line now and try and fish close, like on a top kit or in the edges and stuff. And they weren't really catching anything, so I thought, I'll just stick on this pellets for a bit longer. Carried on catching an odd fish, foul up to an odd fish, but I just think that's the nature of the venue, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You just got to go through the motions of keep doing it. And then it got to about 2 hours to go, and I thought, I've got to catch something now, because I've only got like 60 odd pound at this point. And remember, that section was won with 160 odd pound yesterday.
Yeah.
So I needed a big weight, and I kept potting my edge to my left. It plugged up really nice. It was about 17 inches deep. But the fish just didn't want to come in. They just did not want to come into the shallow water. And it was the same for Christian. It was the same for Andy. They couldn't catch them in the edges. And I ended up catching on the top kit, feeding 6mm, fishing an 8mm in the band. And I had a good run of big carp there that lasted like hour and a half. But I had to be really patient. There was lots of signs of fish
Tight
there.
to the bank or just out? Or?
No, just in front of my nets.
Oh, right, okay, so straight in front.
Yeah. It was about 4 foot. Well, no, I'm lying. About 3.5 foot there.
Yeah.
And that was really good. I caught an odd big carp. I had a lot of indications from fish there. There was so many fish, but trying to get one of them was really hard. But persevered, and it went quite well. They never really came in the edges. It's like it went cooler or something yesterday, and they wanted to sit in the deeper water and out. Like, there was lots of fish caught in the deeper water, whereas the day before, they wanted to catch in the shallower water, but just different days, and things change, don't they? But I ended up with £102 and I won my section, so I'm on 3 points, lying 9th overall. Fantastic.
Sliding into day 3, anything's possible, but yeah, great position. Ruined a little bit as I am that day 1. I think we both feel we could be here on 2 wins, don't we? If we'd have got our bloody act together. But you can't have everything. We're new to this. We're learning, aren't we? We're learning, pal.
People kept telling me my first day peg wasn't that good anyway, so
yeah.
it's gone now anyway, isn't it?
It's gone. Hey, we can't change the past. All we can do is shape the future.
Exactly. So how was your day? How was your second day?
Oh, mate, lovely. Very nice day. So obviously I knew the area, as I said. I caught on that hard pellets on the qualifier, and I had a good lesson off Bagger next peg watching him do it as well, so I thought I know what to do here. So that was the main approach really. I did it a bit further over than I did on the qualifier, just because I could get to 14.5 metres and hold the pole, which I couldn't the day before, or the match before. And it was a hard bottom at 14.5. It felt, at least it felt a lot.
Bit nice.
Yeah, it felt really solid. A couple of inches shallower. I thought this is going to be nice. So that's where I fished. Again, just tapping into 6s. I had a bit of a kinderpot quandary. Like,
didn't know what to do.
Well, the match before, I'd been rattling. I think I'd done it a bit different. I fed 4s as well at times, and they went nice into like the sprinkle pot. Feeding 6s, which was obviously the approach on this match. The guru one with a little hole in it, and the guru one with a sprinkle in it, and the sprinkler one, you'd like. You have to really get to make 3 come out.
Yeah. Be hard work.
The big old one was great. You could just tap out what you wanted, then you'd strike, and about 11 pellets would go everywhere. And I think this is not good. Andy Bennett would not have this problem. But anyway, I sorted it in the end. I fished with a sprinkle pot. But I definitely think I need to sort some pots out for you. Anyway, because the other thing, sorry on that, all these bloody fishery pellets are different sizes, aren't they? Like these 6s here are a small 6, aren't they really?
Yeah. You need a different pot for the different size pellets, don't you?
You do. Anyway, I've caught pretty steady on that. It was quite nice, to be fair. But I've just noticed this theme, mate, where you're feeding bait, dropping your rig in. If you get a bite in the first 10 seconds, you've got a fish, normally. If you don't get a bite in the first 10 seconds, you'll see 4 or 5 tails around your float, or whatever, or movements, and you still won't get a bite. So I just figured you as well, when tap, tap, sit, if nothing, lift rig out, tap, tap, sit, literally, so like regularly, because that's your chance of your bite. No matter what you can see. I just said to Martin Green last night when we were talking to him, I said, I think if you could cancel out what you see on the surface of fish activity in your peg, you're better off here.
Yeah. Just try not to look at it, I think.
Oh, I think so. Anyway, that was great. I actually started up a second line about 2 hours in, so I could go ding ding, catch one. If I didn't get one, go over here, ding ding, and that was all right. A lot of small fish across.
Were they?
Yeah, and I was warned about this by Kieran. He said that the crossfish will be smaller. And I got a right-hand margin, which was delightful. It was sort of a netting that went down on the mesh that goes around the edge of the lake. And if I pinned my rig against it, it was a sheer drop and then a flat little ledge in 22 inch of water. I thought, that's going to be, I'd rather it was a shade shallow. But
I thought you'd catch lots there.
Yeah, and it was good, to be honest. I put 3 in to kickstart it about 2 hours in. Went on it and caught 3 big fish, 3 8-pound fish in 3 puts. I'm like, this is great, this. But then, as yesterday, it went a bit iffy, it really did. Talking to Kieran, he told me how aggressive he was on it. How he fed all his ground bait and it was potting very regularly. So I took that more on board. And it was classic edge fishing again, ignoring what you're seeing. Put a pot in, put your rig in. If you get one, brilliant. If not, you might as well do it again for 2 minutes later. So I caught probably 8 fish, 10 fish, something like that down there. Yeah, not all as big as that one, sadly. A few F1s mixed in, but that was the last 2 hours of the day.
Yeah.
In between switching long.
Yeah.
And a couple of hairy encounters with the aerator where it went around that and all sorts.
Did you?
Under the pallet leg one of them, I had to throw the top kit through. But I ended up with £106, which won the section. So, brilliant day. Really enjoyed it again. Again, lots learnt as well. I'm definitely looking forward to fishing some more festivals.
Yeah, it's really, really good. We'll be back, won't we?
100%. So yeah, 2 wins for us. The match was won by Ryan Lidgard. He had, I think, 160, didn't he?
No, 141 he had.
And that was off Falcon, where we're going today.
Yeah.
So
should we go to Falcon?
I think we should actually. Bit of
should we draw a great peg?
Yeah, let's see what happens. Day 3. We're in the frame at the moment. Will we still be in the frame at the end of the day?
Could have 2 disasters.
Could have 2 great successes.
Could have 2 glorious successes.
Come on then.
See ya.
Get your drink then, pal. Get your drink. Nice and cash. Let's do this. Lead in, Joe. You lead in.
Oh, is it filming?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you ready? Do you need to open that first?
Go on then.
So you don't spill it on yourself.
I'll shake it up.
That's what I was thinking.
Good technique.
Great shaking techniques, sir.
Thank you, pal. Oh yeah. Go on, you ready, pal?
Yeah. So we're here the day after a fantastic 3-day festival at Western Pools, and we're here at Makin's Fishery. And we're just going to have a little...
Hold on. You said a fantastic 3-day festival at Western Pools. We haven't been to Western Pools.
Have we not?
No.
Yeah, we are. Oh, we've been to Westwood Lake.
We've been to Westwood Lakes. You're
Westwood
getting old,
Lakes.
mate,
I
aren't
completely
you?
forgot. So we're here at Makin's, and yesterday we were at Westwood Lakes, weren't we, for a 3-day festival, and I'm going to say it went rather well, as you can probably tell by what sat on the bench with us.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah. Us. Yeah. Team effort, pal, wasn't it, pal?
It was a team effort. It was a team effort.
Sharing partners, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
And I bet you're glad, aren't you?
I am very glad. I am very glad I shared with Tom because he put in a fantastic last day performance. Talk us through it.
Well, I drew a peg 43 on Falcon, which, to be honest, I wasn't very happy about when I saw the sheet from the day before, because Adam Playford had been on it and he'd struggled. Adam's a brilliant angler at Westwood. But I did have a little bit of good fortune in that the chap to my right decided not to fish. So
Oh, really?
the downside to that put me next to Christian Jones. Christian was on the M peg in our section, then me next to him then, because the guy in the middle didn't fish. But it did also mean we got an awful lot of room. So I felt quite happy once I saw that as a change in circumstance for me. And a lovely match, Jordan, again. I've caught probably, I'm going to say I've probably caught 80 pound of fish on hard pellets. I've fished quite a few different lines, mainly across, as you'll see on this video now, the cutaways and things. Literally the key was to catch 2 or 3 fish from a spot and then start again. Feeding 6mm pellets through a kinder pot and fishing an 8mm on the hook. Now I did have a go for a while on casters, because talking to the anglers on the lake the day before, like Kieran Marsden had won his section on casters, it sounded like a good tactic. So going into the second hour, I gave it a good half an hour trying to catch on that and being quite positive on loose feeding, but you could just tell it wasn't right. They were like coming into it and not eating.
Yeah.
I just felt it was too positive. So hard pellets in a few different lines across were definitely the way. But then the last half hour I did have a really good run on casters. But what I did, which, you know, considering how warm it was and how well the venue was fishing, is still bizarre how well it worked to me, but it just felt like it was screaming out for it. But that was just kinder potting, like between 10 and 20 casters in, fishing 2 maggots on the hook and just waiting, almost winter style feeding.
Yeah.
But that was really good for the F1s, and you seem to hook them clean on that. So I finished with 15 carp, mainly on hard pellets, probably 20 F1s, and they went £106, which was actually good enough for 3rd in the match on the day.
Ooh.
Lake win.
Ooh.
And it pushed me up into the frame, and I picked up this little badger, 3rd place, and about, well, 850 quid cash and 150 quid Dynamite voucher and this lovely hamper. So
fantastic, isn't it? What a fantastic performance you put in there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we did a chat, well, we were chatting to Jimmy Brooks, weren't we, the night before, and he was telling us about how good our pellets were.
Yeah.
And you did it, and I reckon that little bit of advice there just got you over the line there, to be honest.
I think so. I mean, we both caught on them well the day before on Skylark, hadn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
But then, 100%, it was chalk and cheese. You know, negative feeding, not feeding too much, and just being patient. Big bait on the hook that they can see. But you know, we talked a lot, Joe, these last 2 days on these vlogs about visibility in that water, it being so coloured, and people fishing these big baits so fish can find them. I don't think that's a thing. I've honestly changed my view on it, because you know that last half an hour when I've caught on them casters with double maggot on the hook.
Yeah.
Every bite was clean, every fish was in the mouth. They weren't struggling to find that bait. And the water was just as coloured then as it was earlier.
What do you think it is then?
I think you said something yesterday which might be right. Because the lakes are so shallow.
Yeah.
I think probably you just see every fish in your peg.
Yeah.
And So you look and you think there's a million there, but if you imagine if you've got a lake 6 foot deep and you've got 6 F1s in your peg, you wouldn't think there was one there half the time.
Yeah.
There,
That's true.
you see them all, and so
There's not actually as many there as you think. You just seen them because it's just so shallow. They can almost stick out the water, can't they? Touching the bottom.
yeah, I think so. Anyway, on to your day, mate. I mean, you had another great neighbour for the day.
Yeah, I had a great neighbour. A certain Andy Bennett again, next peg. So I was on peg 17 on Falcon, which is like the end peg of the back straight bit, if that makes sense. And then Andy Bennett was just round the corner a little bit, and he was on 19. And to be honest, I have no idea how that section fished the day before. I'm going to say it was just pretty steady going. So I had literally next to no water in my peg. It was really, really shallow. Across, down the middle. There was a little bit of a deep spot in front of me, and then I couldn't find anywhere to plumb up nice in the edge, you know, like nowhere nice and close to my left or right. Like it was just like a cliff face. And it just didn't feel very nice to me. And I like getting it somewhere against the bank where I can fish, I can pop my bait in, and they can't swirl absolutely everywhere and have problems with foul hooking. So I went all the way to the next pallet to my left towards the corner, and it was lovely there. It was 2 foot deep. That was the deepest part of my peg to fish on the bottom with ground bait and micros with dead maggots. With maggots on the hook and worms and stuff.
What were you feeding? Just the match method mix?
Yeah, Dynamite Baits match method mix, some of the fishery micros, and just a worm or some maggots on the hook was quite good. And I started there, and I went in and went clunk and clunk, clunk, and it was lovely. I had like 3 or 4 big F1s and a carp in the first like half an hour. I thought, oh, this is easy. And then I went to put my bait in after a little while, and it was like swirl, bow wave, swirl. It's like they were confident they're to eat there at the start, and then all of a sudden they've gone really hard to catch, and I couldn't catch them there for a bit, so I came off that, and I went onto this caster line. I didn't actually loose feed it. I just started with a little, well, I say little, a large Guru pole pot on the end with a sprinkle pot on, and started just sprinkling some casters in with maggots on the hook. And I was having the same, like swirls, bow waves, fucking mist bites, all sorts of rubbish like that. So I caught a few on it. Like it was all right, but I was pretty level with everyone. I thought if it carries on like this, I could end up like just middle of the road here. So I made the change. I changed to hard pellets. I literally fished it in the same spot. I let them clear the casters out. I went back down the edge and caught like 1 or 2 like F1s, and then I went across, tapped in. I could see by this point all the casters are gone because there was no swirls or anything. Like it looks lifeless. And I went in, tapped 2 6mm and with an 8mm. And there was no swirls. I went straight under, got one in the mouth, went out again, fed like 2 6mm, got one in the mouth. Next chuck, yeah, I might have missed like a few bites, but it was so much better than casters in my opinion. And I just caught steady on that. I kept trying to catch on the casters short. I couldn't catch them there.
I found that live a complete
bottom.
waste of space. 4 matches I've fished this year there now.
Yeah.
Where the Fishermania qualifier and these 3 in this match. Everyone's talked about that sort of top 4 line with casters. I've not caught anything on it, that odd fish. Foul look normally.
Yeah.
Mad.
I had a little run mid-match where it was like clunk, like the bites went under nice and clean. I had like 6 or 7 fish on it, but then for whatever reason, I'm not changing anything I'm doing. I tried to sneak the casters in with a little pot and put my bait on it. I threw it in and I get like a swirl. I just couldn't catch them after a little bit, so I got rid of that. I just fished down the edge and then on that hard pellet line across, and I ended up with 94 pound, and it was second in my section. James Howarth beat me.
He's a devil and a dog, isn't he?
He is a devil and a dog, and he's cost me doing really well in this vessel. He's beat me twice in the sections now. He was on peg 23 and he caught a lot of barbel. A lot of barbel and carp, like big carp. It's a weird peg that is. No one else on the lake seems to catch a barbel, do they? No one catches one. But peg 23, they seem to live there. And he caught some barbel and some nice carp, and he ended up with 105 pound, just short of your lake win. So yeah, second in the section. It put me on 5 points, and it got me in the frame. I was 8th.
You were?
Place.
I'll tell you what, to say
fantastic.
Like you'd never fished a festival before. It's 10 years since I fished that festival. To both frame, you know, and top 10 out of 96 anglers, was it?
Yeah, there was a lot.
We've got to be happy with that. Now, I was happy, and I didn't have a stroke of luck, I think, because obviously on the first day I mentioned, you know, £3 or £4 cost me the section win, and that was easily doable, so I could easily have had 3 wins.
Yeah.
But I think with the pegs I've drawn, even with 3 wins, I would only have ended up in the same place, 3rd, because the 2 above me had bigger weights and 3 wins.
Yeah.
I've got to give them guys a mention. You know, the two best anglers all week, to my way of thinking. Chris Riley, he's won the festival. Brilliant performance.
Well
from
done,
him.
Chris.
Awesome, mate. And Tom Edwards. Now, Tom, local to Westwood. The thing I like about Tom and Tony Evans and all them boys around there, just so open and easy to get on with and tell you everything. Just, you know, just lovely atmosphere.
Oh yeah, brilliant, wasn't it? It was a brilliant festival. They told you absolutely everything about how they caught every day. It was great.
And Dynamite with this lovely hamper here. So, sorry, Pop. Trophy.
I'll take the money.
You take the money. We've got some. Oh, we've got all sorts. Krill ground bait. Look.
Lots of krill.
Lots of krill. We've got some liquid in here. What's this? Pellet soak.
You'll have to see if it's as nice as your Fuka stuff, won't you?
Well, I am biased, but I don't think it will be. I do like my Fuka, but listen, what I will say, and you've got to say, is any company who backs any event gets my support as a match angler. So big thank you to Martin Green and Dynamite in getting behind this. We've got a load of vouchers to spend as well. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Alan and the team at Westwood. Loved it as always. Brilliant. And as I said, if you're thinking of going down, there is accommodation on site available. I think they're even doing a bit of a discount for festivals next year at Westwood, aren't they? 20% off.
So apparently, yeah.
But obviously there's only so much capacity on site, so if you can stay on site, great. If you can't, have a look at that apple tree where we stayed, because that was great,
Really
wasn't
nice,
it?
yeah, really nice.
So yeah, maybe we'll get one of the lodges with a hot tub next year and not the Esme suite, whatever it was called.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
But there we are. Brilliant week. Really enjoyed it. What about 1,800 quid? Was it 1,860 in the end?
Yeah, something like that
So
between us.
very good payout as well. So yeah,
We'll be going back, won't we?
We'll be going back.
Probably in autumn.
Yeah, and we'll probably do another one of these next week. We'll be doing with our mate Rob next week. We're at Western Pools on the Weightmaster Festival, Guru Weightmaster Festival. So we'll see how we get on there.
Yeah, fingers crossed.